Hello my geeky guys and gals. Today this is going to be one of my first rant videos. I hope not to do a rant video. I mean, I've seen some troll videos in my time, but this guy really takes the fucking biscuit. I really want to call him what I'd really want to call him in my mind, but for the sake of YouTube I'm not going to do it. The reason why will become obvious in a minute. The reason why I'm so upset about this is because of his video why Macs are cheaper than PCs. They're not. It's nothing more than fucking Apple fanboyism, and I'll explain why Macs are actually indeed more expensive than PCs. Now first and foremost, I'm going to minimise myself up to the top screen like that. Now look, you can see I've got a Windows desktop here. I've got Windows because they're absolutely great for gaming. If you do a comparison with Mac OS gaming, Windows gaming and Linux gaming, you'll find you'll get better frame rate out of a Windows PC than any other machine. Why? Because gamers have been using Windows PCs for a long time. Ever since Apple updated their OS to version 10, did games start finally being able to be played on them, but they're still not perfect. But in my personal opinion, Apple machines are business computers. They're not designed for games. They're not supposed to. What Apples are great for is image manipulation and video manipulation. Now first and foremost as well, I'd also like to say is I'm not an Apple fanboy, I'm not an Apple hater, I'm not a Windows fanboy, and I'm not a Windows hater. I use whichever's best for me. So I've got here a Windows desktop for my gaming needs. And let me just show you this. Right. PowerBook G4. Okay, yeah, fairly old, but still works, still does its job. Brilliant. This one, however, it needs a bit of repair to it because I did buy this second hand. MacBook Pro. I do have both machines, so I stick to my statement. I'm not an Apple hater, I'm not an Apple fanboy, I'm not a Windows hater, I'm not a Windows fanboy. Just a second. Excuse me about that. But like I say, I take what I got. I use whatever hardware is best for the purpose it's designed for, and that's what I use the video editing for. So don't blame me, don't even make an opinion about me saying, oh, you're a Windows fanboy. I've got both machines here. Anyway, let's digress. Let's explain the reason why. On Nathan's video, what he's broken down his costs to PC is, as I've shown you in this Excel spreadsheet here, his Windows initial cost for the laptop is $399.99. Yep, the guy's American, I'm British, and I've gone through the American dollar system just to explain it to you. And later on, I'm going to do the American equivalent of the cost for a brand new system today as well. So he's got, well, $400 for the laptop itself. Then he goes on harping about that Office 2010 Home and Student Edition is $140 there, and yet people don't use Excel or PowerPoint. Well, that is a personal opinion. As you can see right here, I'm using Excel. Now this one particularly is actually Office 2013. I've been incredibly lucky because I'm a public sector worker and I managed to get this at a huge discount. However, for the purpose of your video comparison, fella, I'm going to do the cost comparison as if all the full costs were charged. Again, I'll do that later. Then you go on about a Vista upgrade, which is $120, and another Windows 7 upgrade, another $120. Let's have a look at your video, shall we? Here it is. Published on November the 4th, 2012. Windows 7, that was released on October the 22nd, 2009. Why the fuck would you have a laptop with XP on it these days? You obviously made it clear that your laptop was brand fucking new. So it wouldn't have had XP on it, it would have had Windows 7 on it. Makes no sense to me anyway. Then you go on about antivirus subscription. Fucking hell, I put £sign in there. That's supposed to be $39.99 for a 5-year subscription, making a total $200 worth of AV antivirus. You make a claim that free antivirus just doesn't work. Again, I'll go into that later on. What bewilders me the most is that you say you went to Best Buy's and paid $350 for virus removal. Words cannot explain to me why you do that. I mean, that's nearly the cost of the laptop itself. One, you say that the virus came in within a year of you having the laptop. Surely it would have been in warranty even. That means you've had the repair done for free. But anyway, let's say that it wasn't in warranty. You did something voided warranty, this happened, and then you had to go and pay for it. Why the fuck would you do $350 worth of repair just for software removal, antivirus removal? It doesn't make any sense, fella. You can go down there, you can go to a high street store, pay $50, $60, probably anywhere higher than $80. I mean, does Best Buy actually do antivirus removal at that price? Show me your source. Show me the actual ticket. I want to see a receipt. Oh, what, you don't have it anymore? Oh, what a surprise. Anyway, right, Mac side of things. You say that your initial system cost $1,199.99, so $1,200 for argument's sake. And that Pages, the the Microsoft Word equivalent for Mac, that's $20. But you say that it provides a more professional output of documents than Word can ever do. That again is a personal opinion. We're talking about costs here, not personal opinion. Get over yourself. Next, you've got 2 OS upgrades. Now you say that the Snow Leopard upgrade is $30 then, and Lion upgrade another $30. You didn't say when you bought your Mac either. You didn't say what OS came with it that was installed. So how do we know that you actually had to go through a Snow Leopard and Lion upgrade? No proof, no source material. Next you say Macs don't get viruses. I'm going into a great detailed explanation later on, but for the sake of simplicity right now, I'll say to you, Macs do get viruses. I went to my local app store, I went to a Genius bar, I spoke to the fella behind the counter, and I asked him this rhetorical question, and he said, yes, Macs do get viruses. Are you an Apple employee, Nathan? Are you? No, I didn't think you're not. Macs do get viruses. The question is how they work is a little bit different, and I'll again explain later on as to the reason why. Anyway, so that is the comparison. As you see on my spreadsheet, I've totaled up the tallies here, and just to show everyone I have worked it out properly, I click on here and you see I've used the sum figure to total up all these, so I've not typed the full total cost in there, and same goes for that Mac side of things as well. It's using a sum figure for everything on there. Now down at the bottom here, when I start putting figures in on here, I mean I'll just put in a cost just for example, $10. It comes up at the bottom as well, because that's also using the sum figure, sum formula. And then difference here, this is just simply the price of the total cost of the PC minus the Mac cost. So if I put 30 in here, you see there's a $20 difference whereby PC is cheaper. Again, just for the sake of this video right now, this is just an example. And it tells you here which is cheapest, PC or Mac. This uses a basic if statement. If the two figures equal the same, then neither are more expensive or cheaper than the other. If the PC is cheaper, it'll say PC, and if Mac is cheaper, it'll say that the Mac's cheaper. So the spreadsheet will tell you exactly the way I explain it. I'm not fiddling anything here. Right, so let's clear that, and clear that. Now, as we're right now in June 2014, obviously prices will be different. So, for the purpose of cost comparison, on the basis of your video alone, I'm going to do a cost comparison of today's systems. And the cheapest Mac that I can find, which has a Windows variant of matching specs, I went and I found this one where I can, where's my tab? There we go, first one. MacBook Pro, 13-inch, 2.5 GHz Intel i5 core, 4 GB of memory, 500 GB hard drive. Look at that, $1,199 straight away. So let's punch that into the Mac side. No sense. Strange. That is the cheapest one. I'll show you. Let's click select. Let's just, I don't know, try and actually say that we're going to buy it. Cheapest processor there, smallest amount of memory, smallest hard drive size. Don't want any external display. Why? It's a laptop. Why would we want an external display? Keyboard comes built in. I don't want Apple Care. Don't want none of that nonsense. I don't need any of these accessories. So I have gone for the cheapest option. $1,200. Cheapest Mac. Okay. Windows. Oops, sorry, there's wrong tab. The cheapest one I can find on Amazon, $904.70. This has got exactly the same things. I'll just show you very quickly. I'll just punch that in first. Alright, so what's the specs of this one? Well, look, 2.5 GHz Intel Core i5. 4 GB of memory, 500 GB hard drive, hard disk drive space. So hardware size, it's exactly the same. Same processor, speed wise anyway. I'm not sure about the actual architecture. No, I can't speak properly. 4 GB of memory, yeah. Space wise, it's all the same. So let's go into the office type of things. Now, like I say, I got mine at a very high discount because of the work that I do. But you know, for your cost comparison, let's do it. I mean, okay, iWorks does now come free these days, but that's only a very stripped down version of an old version of iWorks. I didn't actually pre-enter this. So let's go to the Apple Mac Store. Yeah, I know that. Great apps. Pages, numbers, and Keynote are all separate. There's no suite that I can see direct. Tell you what, let's see if we can search for it. No, it's all separate. Right, okay, so for comparison, let's go for Keynote, the one and only. Well, that's interesting. There's no no cost for it on here. Interesting. I've got another idea. Tell you what, let's go to Amazon. They usually would do it. Maybe there's a physical distribution of it. Well, the latest one is still the 2009 version. Okay, fair enough. So since that's the only one that I can find on there for 19 bucks. Yeah, let's go punch that in then, yeah? So $18.99. Next we go (2013) one user, and that's home and student. That should be the one. So that one's 139 bucks. Look at that, we've still got a difference here of $174.29. The PC still works out cheaper. Now you say you're going to go on about OS upgrades. Let's just talk about OS upgrades for the time being, yeah? If we're going to define OS upgrade in its definitive way, it will mean a major version update. By that, the version number itself changes. Now, the tab that I showed you earlier, which is this one, which I clicked on by mistake, this one shows every single Windows NT version history. It doesn't include Windows 95 and 98 or Windows ME because that's not based on NT technologies. So, for argument's sake, let's say if you had a Windows 98 machine and you upgraded to XP, yes, you could define that as an OS upgrade because you're changing from a FAT32 system to an NT based system. However, if you're upgrading from a Windows 2000 machine to a Windows XP machine, look at the version number. Windows 2000 is based on NT version 5. Windows XP on its first release was NT version 5.1. So essentially it is still the same NT kernel. All it is just putting a brand new look to it. Gives the reliability of Windows 98 in a 2000 shell with a snazzy look. That's all XP is. As good as XP was, because it ran for 12 years, well done Microsoft, but it is still the same NT kernel. So if you're upgrading from Windows 2000 to XP, that is not an OS upgrade. On the Mac side of things, the only major update has been OS 9, the classic Apple operating system, to OS 10. That has been the only major change because Apple OS 9 and everything prior to that was a proprietary operating system for Mac machines only. Sorry, Apple machines only. It couldn't be installed anywhere else, no matter how hard you tried, unless these days you're using a virtual machine. But in fact, you're talking about actual hardware, you can't put it on any other machine. OS 10.4 was the first one, Tiger, which was the first OS to support the IBM PowerPC and the Intel chipset even. You know, I still can't speak properly. Fucking hell. But at the end of the day, OS 10.4 over OS 10 is still OS 10. It's still based upon the same kernels, the same API. It's just got more security features. So it's not an OS upgrade. It's a security upgrade, not an operating system upgrade. Just because Apple has changed the naming convention on each upgrade, you've got Tiger, Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, Mountain Lion, Mavericks and whatever else is out there, and soon to come there's a new one coming this fall as well, which I wonder if it's going to be free, but hey ho, we'll worry about that later. But it's not an OS version upgrade, it is still OS 10. Not OS 11, not OS 12, not OS fucking 500, it's OS 10. All you're doing is paying Apple for security updates which Microsoft actually provides for free. Classic example, as soon as they released Windows 8, they fucked up big style, so they released Windows 8.1, free of charge. Another classic example, just to nail the extra nail in your coffin fella, Windows XP and Windows Service Pack 1, again for XP. If you had an out-of-date antivirus, it was down to the antivirus manufacturer to provide a window or a little toolbar button at the bottom to say, hey look, your antivirus is out of date, you need updating. But ever since Windows XP Service Pack 2 came along, you have this wonderful newfangled security centre. Excuse me, I'm so annoyed with this, I'm just going to get a glass of water, hold on a sec. So yeah, ever since Windows XP Service Pack 2 came about, you had the Windows Security Centre, a one-stop shop place to tell you what's wrong with your computer that might compromise it. Now, antivirus program makers these days, they still have the option to provide their own window to say, hey look, you're out of date, please update it. But it's easier for them to write a little code to say to Windows it's out of date and let the Security Centre, now called Action Centre, warn you of the potential of the risk to you. That is a definition of a security update, not an OS update. So there, you're flawed there. We can knock off these costs straight away because there's no need. Plus as well, 2012, why would you have an XP machine? It'll come preloaded with Windows 7. Fucking hell. But you know what? Just for cost, just to give you a cost idea, that's the wrong tab again. Windows Vista Home Premium Upgrade, $79, or the full edition, $300. Again, you're buying a PC back in 2012, it won't have Vista on there. A null and void statement both on the $79 and a $300. I'm not going to include it because it's invalid. You won't have Vista machines back in 2012. You'd have Windows 7 PCs back in 2012. Windows 7 update. I know you don't want the OEM version, you want the full version, but you know, let's have a look. Windows 7 Home Premium, 64-bit Service Pack 1. Oh, that's OEM as well. Oh, fucking hell. Don't want system builder ones. Fucking no, let's just search for it. Yeah, I don't want a system builder. Home Premium Upgrade. $321.96 just for the disc itself. That is really quite expensive. But on the plus side, if you go, oh look, hold on that, Windows 7 Home Premium with Service Pack 1, 32-bit license and media, 1 PC, $125.53. That's on its own, and then you've got a couple of other options as well, but chances are you'll have postage and packaging on top of that. But as we saw earlier on, we've got OEM versions as well. What's an OEM version? Well, it's just the disk and the software itself, where you as the user can install it on any machine you like, activate it, and then that OEM version becomes locked to that machine. So you can go ahead and buy an OEM version for $100. $100, not 120, not 240, $100. If I did put that in, that'd still leave the PC being cheaper by $74. $74.29. But again, you'd already have it if you bought a brand new machine. You'd already have Windows 7 on there, so why would you do that? Does not make sense. The only one and only upgrade you'd ever have is Windows 8.1 full. That's $92 there, fella. 92. So we will put that in, because back in 2012 you wouldn't have Windows 8. $92. Oh mind you, look at that, it says $92 with a pre-installed on a PC, $83.99 for the disc itself. Right, okay, so we can knock that down a bit at $83.99. Apple, I can't put anything in for Apple. They're not OS upgrades, they are security patch upgrades with just a different name. The only OS upgrade that Apple will release is when upgrade to OS version 11. That will be an OS upgrade. All these that's coming out right now are just security updates which you're paying for. Apart from Mavericks, of course. So I'm going to knock that out actually, because we can't put a BIOS cost on Windows if there's no alternative cost for the Mac. It's just not fair. Right, next one. Let's have a look at this comment here. Free antiviruses don't work. This is your comment. Free antivirus doesn't work. Really? Free antivirus doesn't work. Let's have a compare of that, shall we? I have here AVG antivirus website. Look at it. Antivirus 2014, free edition. What do you get on it? Well, that's the wrong one anyway. What do you get for the free one? Let's load that up in a new tab here. There we go, look. Antivirus free 2014. No cost to it at all. What do you get? Antivirus, blocks viruses, spyware and other malware. It uses the same engine as any paid version. You're not getting any advantage, there's no disadvantage. The only reason why an antivirus program might not work is down to the virus definition files it downloads. The virus definition files are sample codes of actual viruses that's out there in the world that these companies know about, and it's the only way that the engine itself can detect them on your computer and get rid of them. So there's nothing wrong with the engine. Your philosophy of a free AV not working is flawed right there. Because paid versions and free versions use exactly the same engine. Look at this, even in the free one for AVG you get link protection, which protects you from clicking on malicious links to go elsewhere, and you get a file shredder because, you know, AVG are good like that. The only extras you get with a paid version, like on this one, you've got the internet security on the other side, you've got online shield. That is essentially just like Microsoft Smart Screen, which you get free anyway with Internet Explorer. It protects malicious downloads and blocks anything that it thinks it's wrong. Data safe encrypts and password protects private files. You've got Windows BitLocker, which comes free with Windows 7 Ultimate and Business Editions and Windows 8. Does exactly the same thing. Anti-spam, stop spammers and scammers. That's an email link, email scanner. Stop getting things through your email. That's only an addition. And firewall. Well, granted, Windows Firewall with XP and Vista wasn't the best, but it's come on leaps and bounds from Windows 7 upwards. You can get very, very good protection from the basic Windows 7 firewall. I use it on my machine. I create custom rules for programs. I can deny and allow specific programs to whatever I want. And let's just go back to the other tab on here. So the paid antivirus, which doesn't have anything else, that comes with the Online Shield, Data Safe. A couple of extra things. Big woof. Then you've got Internet Security, which we just saw on the other page as well. And then you've got Premium Security, which adds on Identity Alert, Quick Tune, and Premium Mobile Security. Added extras. If you don't need them, don't buy it. Get the free version. Fair, simple as. Next we've got Avast Antivirus. Look at this, same thing. Free version, intelligent antivirus with Dynagen technology, whatever the hell that is, but essentially it's still the same thing. You're still using the same scanning engine. And the only reason why it wouldn't work is probably down to the virus definition being out of date, or there's a corrupt file in it. There won't be anything wrong with the engine. With the free virus protection here as well, you get anti-malware protection as standard. And then the paid versions as we go along, as you can see, you get extras like Safe Zone, Silent Firewall, Anti-Spam, blah 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 blah. So your philosophy of free antivirus is not working. It's rubbish. Next, you say that they don't have any resale value. The Mac will have a trading value after 5 years. PC won't have any trading value whatsoever. No, they won't. No. As I've just shown you this tab here, this is on Gumtree, and we've got a Dell Optiplex here for 30 quid. 30 quid at current rate would be some crap at maths. $51, shall we call it, $51. So for $51 there, you've got an inexpensive Windows PC. Now this guy's selling it with Windows XP, but if you don't want that, you can use it for anything else. You can wipe XP off there, you can put a specialist version of Linux on there, run it as a personal home firewall. You could set it up as your own internet server. They do have resale value. It's right there. Fucking hell. Absolute joker. Windows doesn't come with a PDF viewer and editor. No. Yes it does. Windows 7 can open PDFs with its own built-in viewer. Okay, you can't edit them, but you can open them. You don't need Adobe PDF viewer. Windows 8 does. That comes with PDF software on it. There, that's another flaw for you right there. But then, even then, you can get free PDF converters. Open it up in Microsoft Word, save it to PDF. You want it editing? Convert it back from PDF to Microsoft Word. Adobe does that with its own PDF viewer, free of charge. Oh, Lord have mercy. You're getting this all fucking wrong. So we've gone through the specs on here. There's nothing really that you can add on there. Okay, viruses. Yeah, I mentioned about viruses. Okay. Windows XP, when it comes to online security for that, is rubbish, because if you just set it up with a standard setup, your primary account is an administrator account, and yes, you're going to have full access to the system, and if you're an absolute donut, you can download viruses and wreck your entire system. Ever since Windows Vista and subsequent systems came along, they've got user account control. Now again, if you're a complete idiot and disable that completely, then again you're stuck and you're basically back to the Windows XP era. So yes, Windows is particularly prone to viruses. But again, this is because back to the good old days of Windows 95 and whatnot, at least 80% of the home consumer market of PCs is operated by Windows. Therefore, if you're one of these malicious guys that wants to go around hacking people's computers, what do you go for? Do you go for the 10% Apple share and get a little bit of money back if you're lucky enough? Or do you go for the Windows market and get a lot of money back, again if you're lucky enough that they've not picked up on your viruses? Decisions. As for the Mac side of things, if you're going to talk about the actual definition of a virus usually corrupts system files, it will corrupt your hard drive, it will corrupt your master boot records, it will either stop your operating system from loading or propagate itself within the actual operating system itself, so it loads all the time, runs in the background, steals your passwords and whatever not. But malware does exist. The difference between how it runs on a Mac OS compared to a Windows OS is that thanks to OS X and everything since then, it's now Unix based. Essentially, not Windows, Apple OS is it's a Linux installation with sugar on top. That's all it is. Now, for a virus to work its way around a Mac system or even a Linux system, you need to be rooted. It needs to have rooted privileges. And the Unix system, I'm just going to talk Unix now, just for the sake of simplicity. A Unix system, if you give something root privileges, it only gives it root privileges for 15 minutes. Once whatever operation it's performing is finished, if that program then tries to perform another operation that requires root privileges, you'll get another pop-up saying this program requires root privileges. Do you want to give it to it, yes or no? It's pretty secure, is that? Thumbs up to Apple and Unix and Linux distributions for that, but there is a flaw on there. If you're on a website, it doesn't matter what software you're using, whether it's Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Opera, whatever. If you're viewing a page that uses Java and you want to give access for Java to use your camera and your microphone, that requires root privileges, so therefore people can get into your system that way. Now again, when I went to the Apple store, they did say Apples do get viruses coming from a genius. Now, in the strictest definition of viruses, yes, they don't get viruses, but they're still viable to malware. They can still run in the background. They don't need to change system files. A keylogger, for example, will just install a key hook. It'll look at what you're typing on your keyboard and file that through a secret email. Depending on how it runs, it might require elevated privileges, it might not. It depends on how it runs. So my personal advice on that one is still go on the Mac store and still get an AV program. I can't really say much more else about that. I've gone through as much as I can. Those costs that I've put on there are the only ones which you can work by. You get your system cost and you get an office cost. That's it. Everything else you can get free of charge. Now, I saw your other comments as well about things like GIMP, where you said it kept on crashing. I've used GIMP all the time, never had a problem. Never had a problem. Just because it's free doesn't mean you can downsize it. Don't put it down. Now I do Adobe Premiere for my video editing. Yeah, it costs a pretty penny, but I'm running that on my PC system until I can get the MacBook Pro repaired. Then I can run it on there and it'll be a lot better. But it does its job on Windows. Again, I've not had a problem. And this is Windows software. It beggars belief how you managed to get this. Plus as well, you have not sourced any of that. You just said, I bought this laptop, I got this virus, I went over there and got it repaired for $350. You've not provided any physical evidence. So with that, your entire philosophy of Macs being cheaper than PCs is completely and utterly destroyed. Now if you do see my video, Nathan, and you want to put a comment on here, I want to see hard evidence first before you back yourself up, because the way I see you, fella, you're more stubborn than the mountain goat that's on the edge of a cliff about to fall over and still thinking you're safe. You're not. Get off your high horse, get out from under your rock, get some sourcing material provided, and then look at the costs again. Otherwise, leave us alone. I'm fed up with these PC versus Mac wars. Each one has its advantages and each one has its disadvantages, and I've got the best of both worlds. So with that in mind, bye bye. Oh yes, something else I forgot to mention as well. If you think that OS 10.4 Tiger, for example, and compare it to OS 10.9 Mavericks, and you're under the impression that they are two different operating systems, take a look at these two screenshots. The one on the left is 10.4 Tiger. The one on the right is 10.9 Mavericks. Fundamentally, they are the same. It's just got Mavericks has got a shinier looking interface. But you've still got the menu bar at the top. You've still got the dock at the bottom. Essentially, it's still based upon OS 10, the same version. It's just got extra features. So therefore, it's not an OS upgrade, it's a security upgrade. Therefore, the cost in what you say about OS upgrades, again, is null and void. And on that quick note, I will leave it here. Bye.